let me just talk about your financial situation, because we have all of these pentacles cards that are coming through. Okay. Um, we have here the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is a situation where I feel like many of you have had to work really, really hard from the ground up. I'm inclined to say, like, they mention new money. They mention new money. And I'm sensing many of you didn't come from, a trust fund family. You didn't come from families where parents were really, really wealthy, where parents, motivated you or like really pushed you or provided that mentorship for you to be able to be very successful. I'm seeing a lot of people here with parents that either that had a lot of financial struggles. You might have grown up in environments where there were a lot of financial fluctuations as well. And I feel like against all odds, you got to where you are today because of your own sheer sense of hard work and dedication and perseverance. And if you are dealing with that, I feel like life for you was about a series of safe decisions, right? It's kind of like, okay, I need to do this first to get myself to the next step. I need to go to that next step to get myself to the third step. So life was just about a series of like methodical planning, a series of decisions that depended on safety, security. And so you are very incredibly risk adverse, because you understand what it's like to not have everything. And you've worked so hard to get yourself to this point where you're like so risk adverse that you're not really sure how to change direction, right? So you might have, for example, let's just say, you might have gone to school. You wanted to be an English major, for example. You might have gone to school for finance, for ICT, because at the time the labor market was in high demand for accountants and, ICT people. And you might have not liked those fields, but you went into them because they promise a lot of financial security. And now that you find yourself where you are right now, where there's a lot of wealth, there's a lot of prosperity coming in, but you feel like, am I really emotionally happy? Can I continue this? Is there like another job where my skills can be better applied? So I feel like on the one hand, you're making really good money, but on the other hand, are you really happy? Are you really secure? And are you feeling like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? So I do sense this feeling of, aversion for risk that's coming through. And we might, get ourselves into a series of safe decisions, but it can also pigeonhole us into a specific field, a specific industry, or even a very specific safe relationship that might not meet our emotional needs. Okay. So these things are coming up for reexamination because I feel like, I feel like you deserve a lot more. And I'm also sensing that you feel like you've made all of these safe decisions to get you where you are. But I'm also sensing the universe is telling you for this month, it's not because you made the safe decisions. It's because you intuitively have a very strong sense of timing. You intuitively work very hard, and you intuitively, you are very responsible. Like you got where you were, or you got where you are right now, mainly because you work very hard. So in any environment, if you work really hard, you will be able to succeed. And so you feel like, oh, it was, luck. It was just a series of decisions that was well thought out, and now you find yourself kind of stuck. But in fact, they're saying even if you were to change direction, no matter what you do, it's still going to be very financially lucrative. It's still going to be very good for you because you know how to do things the right way. So I'm feeling some people needing a major change in direction and being very fearful about taking that first step. And Virgos, I've known many Virgo people in my life, and I can honestly say that when you do something, you do it right. And so, I, for example, would trust my life to a Virgo because when they say they're going to do something, they follow through. And if I have to, vouch for the quality, I feel like Virgos, once they start something, they finish it. And once they finish it, the quality is going to be exemplary. It's going to be, you're going to outshine all of the other people. So that's the extent to which you need to believe in yourself, okay? You need to know that even if you were to change direction, it's still going to be okay. Because if you have to, get your hands dirty and start from the ground up in order to start over, you're still going to be okay. So we really need to think about more like emotionally, are we really happy? Can we do other things? Can we change direction right now? And can we be a little bit less fearful about, thinking about worst case scenario and thinking about like, I guess like doubting our own capabilities. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope that makes sense for you guys. I'm also feeling for many of you, there is a major relationship that is, that needs to be repaired, that needs to be fixed. So what we have here is, first of all, a water sign. So this is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. And, first of all, I'm feeling for some of you, this is somebody like a friend. This is somebody that is, I'm feeling like, going back to that initial message here, where I feel like some of you, you've worked really, really hard your entire life. Things were not handed to you on a silver platter. You have a person that is the opposite. They've gone through life to the point where, like things were just given to them without them having to work very hard at it. And so they have this mentality of like, oh, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be dandy. I don't have to plan for anything because my life has never gone awry. For the first time this month, for this person, things are going to go unexpectedly awry. And they're going to turn to you for, like, what do I do? Things like that. And I feel for some of you, this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And things are hitting them left and right in a very unexpected way. And because they didn't have that, I guess like because they didn't have to work from the bottom up, they feel as if, okay, I'm exempt from it. I don't need to do it in that procedurally correct way. And things are going to be okay. So they don't understand the gravity of the situation. They don't understand that they need to change. They don't understand that, if I keep heading down the wrong path or the same path, it's going to lead to a very unsatisfying conclusion. So this is a person in your midst that you care about, okay? And I feel like for some of you, a very close friend, and then for others of you, and it could be male or female, these cards are not gender specific for general readings. For others of you, it could be a family member or, somebody that you care about, for a while, a very close friend, family member. And I feel like they make a series of, They can be as reckless as they want to be, and they haven't really dealt with, ramifications of that. They behaved in a way where they feel like they might be entitled to things, and they don't really think about it's almost like growing up in a very privileged way and thinking that everybody's like that and thinking that they don't have, they're exempt from the rules, okay? If this is somebody that is perpetually, in and out of your life, I want you to be a little bit careful because the energy can be a little bit toxic. And so detaching from this person is going to be good. And I feel as well, there might have been multiple run-ins because this is a card here about karma. There might have been multiple run-ins between you and this person in the past where you come from different stations in life. And they have trouble, understanding all your struggles. They have trouble understanding why you worry so much. and they might live a little bit more vicariously, like, making decisions that are not well thought out, but things just seem to go their way. And then on the flip side, I feel like it's really hard for you to relate to this person because you feel like, they haven't really had it hard. And the things that they complain about, you're just like, everyone deals with that, So there's going to be a little bit frustration dealing with this person for this month. I feel for some of you, this might also be a relationship partner, but I feel that if it's a relationship partner, their priorities are just different. Okay. And so this is the month where we need to be very, very patient when dealing with other people. And we need to be extremely patient when it comes to, being able to put yourself in their shoes and to understand where they're coming from. Okay. That's what I'm sensing here. And, I feel like this is it's really interesting the way this plays out. It's almost like two people living parallel lives, two people finding themselves in the same professional setting or in the same predicament, but they're handling things in a very, very different manner. And I feel like you're looking at this person from afar and you're just like, I don't really approve of your decisions, but I feel like you're keeping your opinions to yourself. And they're just going to, do what they want to do because they're not operating from a space where they know where they have the hindsight, where they understand what struggles really mean. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling here. The other thing that is coming into the picture here, and especially if for some of you who might have a lot of struggles with relationships, what I have here is the Ace of Cups in the reverse. And the Ace of Cups in the reverse, this is kind of like the moment of clarity where we ask ourselves, like, what's going on? Do we really love the other person or do we need to let go? So I feel like some of you are letting go of a significant relationship, mainly because the other person is not taking ownership. I feel like they're not taking ownership of their roles. They're not, I'm sensing like a little bit of a victim mentality associated with this person. So I do feel some of you are going to be leaving a relationship partner behind because they're not able to take ownership of their responsibilities. They're a little bit like, when it comes to personal responsibility, they're a little bit like reckless, and they're also making decisions too that I feel is not conducive for long-term growth. Okay. And they're also not taking responsibility for their contributions to a specific circumstance, to a specific, course of action. I feel like overall, this is a card indicative of you withdrawing your support for a person. And it's funny, they say like withdrawing your support for a candidate. So if you've really, been on board with a person, sponsoring a person, advocating for a person, I feel like this is the month in which you're having, doubt, and you are withdrawing your time, your resources, your investment in a specific person as well. When you're able to pull back this energy, which I feel is going to be really, really good for you, you're going to be able to achieve a lot more wealth for yourself. So rather than helping everybody else, navigate their own issues, you're drawing back your energy, you're focusing more on you. So I do feel that you're going to be a lot more conscientious about where you are spending your time, where you are expending your financial resources, and how you can draw this back and not waste it on people, avenues where the financial payout might not happen. So I'm sensing for many of you, there's a major reassessment about, drawing back your time, being very, very conscientious about who you are giving your time to. So in the past, if you have been kind of like a little bit more of a social butterfly, this is the month where you draw back your energy and you're just like, I don't know. I don't really enjoy hanging with that person anymore. So I'm just gonna, not going to accept those invitations. So we have here a lot of social activity that is happening for you, a lot of like meet and greet opportunities, a lot of networking opportunities that are coming into the picture, and friends, associates, and, you know, even love interests that are in the picture, shooting you emails, text messages, calling you. And you're just like, I'm going to make myself scarce. I'm going to make myself unavailable because I don't really want to hang out with those people. The communication is not flowing well, or I don't feel like emotionally they get me. So I feel like you're going to check yourself out of many, many social engagement where you feel that emotional disconnect. Okay. I'm also sensing as well, this is the month where doing things for show is not going to be interesting anymore. So I feel for many of you, especially if you are kind of like, especially if people have, you know, if you have like a lot of disposable income and you're looking at investment opportunities, and I feel like a lot of people will come to you. They see that you're dripping in money. And they're like, hey, I have these 3 projects. I need a financier. Do you want to invest? And their plans have not been really thought out, right? And so you're trying to tell them like, okay, so give me your business proposal. Give me your business plan. Let me see how viable it is. And I feel like nothing is done on their end. So you're going to be very impatient when it comes to people who are, first of all, incompetent, or people who are not taking their responsibilities seriously because they don't understand what it means to work from the ground up. Okay, so be very patient this month. You don't have to give them a piece of your mind. You know, I feel like oftentimes when you don't like something or when you do like something, I feel like your body language and your facial expression is pretty clear to people who are interacting with you. So this is a month where we want to be a little bit more stone-faced, where we want to be able to, you know, kind of like not jump the gun when it comes to giving somebody a piece of our mind, because I do see them working on your nerves and, you know, grading your patience. Okay. It's really important to be very, very poker face and stone face when we're dealing with other people, so that we don't display annoyance. We don't display like impatience in our body language, in our facial expression. So I feel like that's going to be better for you. So if somebody is just like coming in without a plan and they have all these big ideas and it's not even concrete and it's not even viable, just tell them, give me your business proposal. I'll think about it, and be on your way. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling here for you, Virgos. I feel like you're going to be cutting some people out of your life left and right. And I do feel for many of you, it's kind of like out of self-preservation, mainly because you want meaningful relationships, and especially you want meaningful communication and meaningful, you know, people in your life. So the ones that are a little bit more on the superficial end, that's not going to fly. The people without very deep emotional insights into their own actions, and the people that are playing like the victim, I just don't feel you're going to have the patience to deal with them. So they're going to be coming at you left and right, and it's just not going to cut it anymore. Okay. So the process of people dropping away, I feel like it's going to start happening for you for this month of August, going into September birthday time and going into the December, the end of this year. I feel like it's going to start happening left and right. One last thing I want to mention as well is this. Both of these cards indicate, they both indicate health, okay? And the Strength card, this is kind of like, I usually think of it as something from the past flaring up that if we haven't gotten them treated for, or we haven't gotten proper treatment for, I feel like it's going to kick up. And I do see a lot of inflammation with you guys. So this can be, I'm seeing cysts. I'm seeing as well like major migraines that are happening here. And I do feel like fevers, chills, and, like inflammation. Okay. Make sure that you get adequate rest for this month. Make sure that you sleep properly if you are traveling heavily. And we have a lot of travel opportunities, a lot of opportunities for you to rub elbows with people, and they're coming to you, possibly soliciting you for funds, soliciting you to get on board with them for a specific venture. I do feel like you're going to be in high demand. So that means taking time off for yourself if you're feeling sick and you're just like, but I already promised them I'm going to do this. Make sure you take care of your health first, okay? Because you're not going to be good to anybody if you are under the weather, okay? Conserving our energy, and especially knowing that our time, our energy is limited, and we want to be operating at our best when we're doing something. That's very important. So do not neglect your health just because promises were made. Things need to be delivered on a specific timeline. Take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. This is a month for us to be a little bit more on the selfish end and to get things done and to make sure we are emotionally, financially, and physically feeling and operating at our best, okay? Don't feel guilty about putting yourself first, Virgo. You deserve it, okay? Let me see if there's anything else coming through. They mention a lot of noise violations, so I don't know if you are in a, if you have rowdy neighbors, or if you are doing the remodeling that I mentioned earlier, like some fixing, some remodeling. Just, earplugs, finding a quiet space, changing your, just getting some snooze time in whenever you can, because I feel like you might feel under the weather, but there's a lot of noise around your neighborhood or in your household, so you can't really get adequate sleep. Just be careful about that, okay? Make sure you take care of yourself.